Okay, well, let's just go real quickly then to this idea, because actually, Andrew makes a good point, but in Leviticus 17:2-4, the idea that we're allowed to sacrifice anywhere gets switched, and it gets switched to the tent of meeting, right? It says, speak to Aaron. I'm reading in the NASB, by the way. Speak to Aaron and to his sons, and tell all the sons of Israel, and say to them, this is what the Lord has commanded, saying, any man from the house of Israel who slaughters an ox or a lamb or a goat in the camp, or who slaughters it outside the camp, and has not brought it to the doorway of the tent of meeting, to present it as an offering to the Lord before the tabernacle of the Lord, blood guiltiness is to be reckoned to that man. He has shed blood, and that man shall be cut off from among his people. So, sacrifices get brought to the tabernacle in the wilderness, right? And so, and there's a shift here, right? Sacrifices are made beforehand, pretty much anywhere. And then once the tent of meeting is established in the Torah, then that changes. You can't make a sacrifice anywhere. Right. And then in Deuteronomy 12:1, 5, and 11, it changes to the place where God puts his eyes and his ears, and that is the temple, right? Once the temple's built, it says, I will put my eyes and my ears here forever. It says, these are the statutes and the judgments which you shall carefully observe in the land which the Lord, the God of your fathers, has given you to possess, as long as you live on the earth. But you shall seek the Lord at the place which the Lord your God will choose from all your tribes, to establish his name there for his dwelling, and there you shall come. Then it shall come about that the place in which the Lord your God will choose for his name to dwell, there you shall bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes, and the contributions of your hands, and all your choice votive offerings, which you will vow to the Lord. Okay, so there's a shift here to the temple. What is interesting is that it seems in the book of Jubilees.
Well,
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. To Jerusalem. Yeah. To a center.
So the interesting thing is that in Jubilees, and as Rob has already stated in previous shows, we don't know how widespread Jubilee was, or how much it was taken as a text to be followed, or if it was just, I mean, who knows? Maybe it was some fiction writer back in the first century, or 200 years prior, that was making stuff up. But the point is that in Jubilees you have they weren't allowed to leave the Temple Mount the whole time. At least that's how it seems. It seems like they're not allowed to leave the Temple Mount during the first night of Passover. So everything's done on Passover. There's priests and guards that are on the Temple Mount making sure nobody leaves. By the time the first century comes around, Josephus and Philo both talk about the celebration of Passover and what it was like in Jerusalem. And basically there was so many people. We don't know how many people there was. It could be anywhere from like 300,000 people, but most likely up towards 1 million people. That's what Josephus says. I think Philo says even more than that. I think he says 1.2 million people came from all over Israel into Jerusalem for this pilgrimage festival, and that it was so big that there wasn't enough room on the Temple Mount. And so what did they do? They declared all of Jerusalem to be ritually clean for that day, for the 14th through the 15th. And so what would happen is you'd bring your lamb and this is all laid out. It's very interesting to read about how they did this, but they would bring the lambs to the temple. The priests would slit the throat, dress the lamb, and give it back to you. It was the only sacrifice that was given back to you. And then since Jerusalem was declared clean, you then took
it's like
it.
a serious assembly line,
right? Hundreds of priests
action going on. It would have to be, just the logistics are pretty insane.
And the reason that I believe that this is not only true, but also that it was accepted by God, is because Yeshua does it. Don't miss any clips from Messiah Matters by clicking the subscribe button. Also, give this video a thumbs up and share it so other people can see it too.